Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Candy Publishing's live event with attorney Robert Allen, Do the Right Thing. We thank you guys for tuning in, and we ask you to please share. Please share this because so many of us, everybody needs to hear the information that attorney Allen is going to be sharing. And I also have my sons who will be joining us in a few minutes. We're going to have a question and answer session also, so get your questions ready. We will have, hold on one second. Attorney Allen will share his thoughts, and a lot of people are asking me, why is Candy Publishing having an attorney on? Candy Publishing is all about knowledge, all about sharing knowledge. And you all know, if you have been to any of Candy Publishing's workshops, we talk about doing your research, know what you're getting into, understand what you're doing when you get ready to publish, ask questions. So attorney Robert Allen, say hello, attorney Allen.
Hi, so glad to be here today. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's just been on my mind a lot that our community needs rights are trampled, or that a person is afraid, and that they are taken advantage of by society and by law enforcement.
Right. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight. We will have that question answer segment. So please write your questions down, or if questions come up as he speaks or as I ask questions, they may come to mind. Why attorney Allen? Attorney Allen, I met him when I was in Pensacola. I am in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, attorney Allen is licensed to practice in the state of Florida. And I met him when I worked at the radio station in Pensacola, Florida, and chose him to be my divorce attorney. So that's how we met. And I was so impressed with how reliable, honest, and efficient he was. And I believe every family, every household needs a go-to lawyer. So I highly recommend attorney Allen. If you want results, you want attorney Allen. And I am going to bring in Jalen. Hello, Jalen Williams,
What's
my
up?
son. That's my youngest son. And I'm waiting on this. Here we go. Waiting for Javon. Hello.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Good, good.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I hear you loud and clear. Can we all hear each other?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay. So the first thing I want to ask you, attorney Allen, as you share what some of our rights are, some of the rules are, do they vary from state to state?
Well, and they vary from state to state, and Florida has different districts that hear legal issues, and our section of the state, from here to Tallahassee, is heard in Tallahassee. If you appeal a decision by one of the judges here, is heard by I'm gonna call them supervising judges in Tallahassee, and they make the law for this area of Florida. Now, the Supreme Court Florida Supreme Court, their rulings are binding on all of Florida. But once you go to the first DCA, which is in Tallahassee, it covers those areas that cover the first DCA, which is from here to Tallahassee. But I thought that we'd have this session today and talk about driving while dirty. A lot of people are driving and they have something illegal in the car, and then they're stopped. Automatically, because you're driving while dirty, doesn't mean that you're gonna need to get out when the police stop you and run.
Now define dirty before you go on. When you say
Well,
driving while dirty.
You got marijuana in the car. You got an illegal substance in the car. Or you got some firearms if you're a convicted felon. So, you're driving around and you shouldn't have the things in your car that you have. And how can you avoid, if the police stop you, to not get arrested because of those things in your car? Even when they search the car, there are some things that could happen that search is invalid. If you, and most of the people I talk to, they're getting stopped for illegal tint, tag, failure to use a turn signal, don't have a seatbelt on, and those things. And you get stopped for that, doesn't give the police the right to search your vehicle.
Okay, stop right there. Now you mentioned two things. You mentioned a few things. People are getting stopped for illegal tint, tags, having something in the car. Now, I know my sons, just two of those things, illegal tint. I don't know if it's illegal or not, but I know they have dark tint and tags. So,
and the tags, in the sense that your tag light not working, or you make a left turn and you don't use your turn signal, or you're speeding, those things are the reason that the police are gonna have an attention to you. You're not having your seatbelt on. They're gonna stop you. And really, it's not for those things. It's to see what you got in your car.
Okay, so they really want to see what you have in your car. It's not really for the tag or the tint. That gives them a reason. So the whole right to stop you. So the whole do the right thing. If young guys, women, whoever driving around with illegal tint, or license plate is wrong, or some states you have to have two license plates, you're asking to be stopped because they're looking for a reason to stop you. That's what you said, right?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. You don't use your turn signal. The tint is wrong. But they can stop you, but they can't just pull you out the car and start searching your car. So, and a lot of my clients come in, they've been stopped for illegal tint or tag, and they know they have some stuff in contraband in the car. They know they got something in the car that they shouldn't have, and they jump out and they run. So at that point, they got a reason to chase you down and search your car. While if you just sit there and just be calm, they can't search the car. They cannot
search the car.
They cannot search it.
Okay, we haven't started our Q&A, but Javon, I need you to share. Javon is in Texas. He's in the military in Texas, and he recently got stopped and searched. Javon, would you share that, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so yeah, I was driving, and cop was going the opposite way of me, so pulled me over. Originally, for my plates in Texas, the plates got to be in the front of the car, the furthest front in the car, and in the back. I have mine in the dash, so that's what she originally pulled me over for. Then she asked to search my car after, when she pulled me up. because I thought it was for my tent. But yeah, I didn't have nothing in there, so I just let her search it. But I didn't know that we didn't have to. We could say no.
And
And
I'm
she,
telling that.
go ahead.
I'm telling everybody, even if you don't have anything in your car, get the law enforcement used to people saying no. That's your right. They're going to say, well, if you don't have anything in your car, you should let me search it. It's an inconvenience to me. You know,
How do we say no? How do they say no?
they're
So
going to
here
say,
is
can you, go ahead.
so here's a 20-something-year-old young guy. He's being pulled over, and they say, "Step out. I need to search your car." How does he say no? What is protecting him
He
from
can go ahead
something happening?
he can go ahead and step out and let them search his car if they don't ask. But if they ask, say no, they're gonna search it anyway. But say no, because once you tell them no, you can't search my car, then you have a good ammunition that anything that they find in the car can't be used against you. You know, if you say yes, hoping they're not gonna find it, they're gonna find it. But if
The
you
police,
say no, you can't search my car, and they find something in your car, you got ammunition to get that suppressed. You got ammunition to keep that out of being used against you if you say no.
So when they originally stop you, Attorney Allen, we have a question. The officer should tell you the reason up front as to why you're being stopped, because we see, on TV, or most of us will say, "Can you tell me why I'm being stopped?" Should they
And
automatically tell us that?
and that's the question I get a lot on people like, well, they didn't read me my Miranda right. They don't have to read you your Miranda. They didn't tell me why I was stopped. They don't have to tell you why you were stopped. All you need to do is tell them. I mean, and it helps, doesn't help you in it to know why you were stopped. You know, you want to get to the point where you're not giving them a reason that they can explain why they searched your car. And one of the things they say, step out, I'm going to search your car. You step out, let them search the car. But you didn't give them permission. They didn't ask for permission. They need something more on the reason why. So you step out, let them search the car. If they find something, they find it. Doesn't
but
mean that it's going to be used against you.
isn't there cops like going around planting stuff on you nowadays?
I mean, they're more prone to lie and say that you gave them permission to search your vehicle than
Because
to
if you
than
tell
to
a cop
have.
no, it might be his bad. He might be having a bad day, and then some like cops don't like the word no because they think they
Uh,
got all this power. So
they don't like the word no because they can't build a case against you. But just from a practical sense, that they aren't going to be having cocaine or marijuana in their pockets, where if you tick them off, they're going to plant it in your car. It's just logistically, it doesn't work. So that idea that they're going to plant something in your car, then uh, no, and they intimidate you by acting like that, or they intimidate you with, well, if you don't have anything to hide, you need to let them search your car. And then you think, well, if you tell them, go ahead and search it, they're not going to do a really good job. They're going to do an excellent job. That's
yeah,
just the
So,
thing that they tell you to bait you up to get the car searched.
so when they say no, that officer, is that a clue to the officer that they know that they don't have to say yes? What's the best way to say, "Officer, I know that I don't have to allow you to search my car"? What's the right way to say it besides saying no? Because they can have attitude and say, "No, you got to search my car." We want to know the right way and exactly what to say.
Well, and that's the thing, because I would tend to be a little bit over aggressive with my no, where like, no, you can't search my car. And I don't give another explanation. Well, why you don't want me to search your car? I don't want you to search my car. Don't give them an explanation. You don't have to be, verbally, you don't have to be submissive or that. You just, I don't want you to search my car.
That just doesn't sound right, Attorney Allen. So that works.
I mean,
Let me ask you.
it works. Because that person, that lawyer, that sheriff deputy or that law enforcement officer know at that point that they can't intimidate you, they can't sweet talk you, you know your rights. And when they say something like, well, if you ain't got nothing to hide, you let me search your car. Well, my attorney said, no, don't let you search my car, even if I ain't got
Okay.
nothing in it. Because
Okay.
we trying
Even
to
if you don't have an
train you.
attorney.
Well, you can tell them you got one.
Okay.
You can tell them. If you're on this broadcast tonight, I'm telling you, and you can tell them that I told you that they should not search your car. You're not going to get permission. You're tired of people just trampling over your rights. You're tired of it. You're not going to get that permission. They don't have the authority to do it, and you're not going to do it.
Okay. With that being said, Javon and Jalen, I hope you shared this to your page and tagged
Yeah,
some
we did.
people so they can know. With that being
And
said,
let me just throw this other thing out, because if you're in Pensacola and you get stopped and you're looking at this broadcast and you tell them you don't want to search the car, call me. If you call my office, it's going to go to my cell phone. Call me. And I'll tell them that, no, he don't want you to search his car. You feel like, well, I don't want to get caught up. I don't want to seem like I'm difficult. Take my phone number down. Call me. Strangely enough, I've had people like law enforcement is here at my house asking me this. And I'm like, let me talk to them. And I don't know the people in the house. I don't know the law enforcement. I don't know the situation, but I know that they need to have probable cause to search your car. They need probable cause to search your house. And if you say, hold on, let me talk to my attorney. I got him on speed dial. Here he is. Tell him what you told me. I'll be glad to talk to him. Now I'm going to send you a bill out.
of course.
For that consultation.
Right.
But all my clients know, and everybody I know, like I tell them, call me. Because it is so important that you understand that you don't give them permission to search. Even if you don't have anything. If you do have something, don't give them permission. Because if you got it, you still got outs to get it suppressed. Unless you give them permission. Now, and I'm just going to say that, like if you're driving while drunk or you got erratic driving or something like that, then they have probable cause to search your car. Now, if they're going to stop you for tag light out, headlight out, not using your turn signal, not having your seatbelt on, they don't have a right to search your car. If you're driving while dirty, you got something in that car that you shouldn't have in there, fine. It's gonna be okay as long as you tell them not to search your car, that they can't search it. And with the phones today, turn on the recording, turn on the video.
Before you go there, I gotta, before we talk about the cell phones, we got a question from a viewer. There was an incident on the Beltway in Northern Virginia. The man had his car locked and refused to get out, and they reached in and unlocked the car. How do you stop this?
You don't stop it. If they did not have probable cause to arrest that guy, they couldn't reach in and unlock the car. Now, if he had some stuff in the car that was illegal, it's probably going to get suppressed if they didn't have probable cause to arrest him when they stopped him. And you don't have probable cause to arrest somebody for tag light being out, not using the turn signal. They need something more. And, you know, I had a client here in Pensacola where they stopped him for a tag light, and they asked, "You ain't got anything in the car that can hurt me, Cameron?" He was like, "Well, you know, I got a concealed weapons permit, and I got a gun in the car." And they was like, "We want you out of the car." And he was like, "I ain't getting out the car. I'm not getting out the car." And they forced him to get out the car, and they charged him with resisting arrest.
Now, is that considered police? Now, that's one of the things that you do is police misconduct, because the question that I just asked, this guy was filming everything and told the officers that he was filming. So where does it cross the line that it's actually police misconduct?
It crossed the line when they reached in that car and unlocked his car. That was, and they didn't have any legal right to do that. Then that was a violation of that guy's civil rights.
So was that a case?
Yeah.
Is that a case?
That's
a case.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is
Any
why I
time-
wanted to have this, because we don't know what questions to ask. If you don't know your rights, you think you have to sit there and take that stuff. You have to take the actions of the officers because you're trying to be a good citizen. You're trying to do the right thing. Because in our minds, and I'm sure any young man's mind, if they rebuke the officer, if they go against what he's saying, then you're not resisting arrest, but it's a word that they use.
Right, but I mean, you can go ahead. I mean, if an officer arrests you and they don't have the legal right to arrest you, go along with the flow.
Okay.
You can't stop the arrest, but you can turn around and sue them.
Okay.
I'm not saying, you know, like if you could tell this officer you don't have the right to arrest me, don't start fighting. Don't start resisting.
Okay.
'Cause
Man, I can't.
you've made a
This,
case. You've given them a case. But I mean, you can go. You don't have to fight them when they're wrong. You can just like, okay, in your mind, like, I'm a sue.
why go through all that
Really
trouble
wrong.
knowing like you're not at the wrong? No,
So that again,
I said, why go through all that trouble knowing like you didn't do anything wrong? Because if it was me, if I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not getting arrested. I don't want no handcuffs on my wrist.
But then you
But
cause
then-
problems for yourself.
then your case, your civil rights case is shot. Then they got a better chance of proving that you resisted arrest that gave them the probable cause to arrest you, as opposed to they like, come up, get out the car. They ain't got no right to tell you to get out the car, but you need to get out the car.
Okay.
What if
So
they-
you go with
so
the
what if they-
flow.
And then
Go
sue
ahead,
them
Jay.
later on.
What if they drag you out the car? That's a different story. Nah.
No, you can't fight them. Then it's better on the law enforcement officer.
Okay.
5
So we're going to
years
go with the
jail
flow.
sentence. Because I mean, if you got the officer and he dead wrong, and you fight him back, you lost the case. But if you go there, he's dead wrong, he handcuffed you, he take you to jail, you got a good case to sue him.
And that's the important thing. One of the viewers said, and that's where we lose our temper and things get escalated. So we have to have some kind of, we have to maintain composure. If you know your rights and you know the officer is in the wrong, you go with the flow and then you have a case. But as soon as we resist, what did you say? We lose our civil rights case is
You
shot.
lose your lawsuit. What happens is that the officers know that too. They know I don't have any reason to arrest this guy. I got to get him to do something. I got to get him to resist. I got to get him to do
Wow.
something so that I can make this arrest good. So yeah, they're
Right.
gonna know that they're gonna know
That's
that they
crazy.
don't have the right to do it, but they know that they can piss you off and get you to do something that gives them a good case. And so
Let's go back.
that's the work.
Okay, that's the word. So it's almost like that's part of the process is to provoke us to get angry, and then we lose a case, we lose a lawsuit. So they
Right,
want us to resist. So our
right,
main thing, do the right thing, and maintain composure. Go with the flow. And Deborah Shedrick says, fight your battle in court. Now let's go back to the cell phones. Tell us what our rights are in regard to filming. Javon, will you please share what you went through on that same incident you just shared earlier about your cell phone, where it was and what happened?
Yeah, my cell phone was in the cup holder, and before she told me to get out, I was about to grab my cell phone, and she was like, "No, you can leave it right there. You don't need that." And yeah, at that time, I didn't know about that. I didn't know if I was wrong or right or whatever. She was lying to me or what, but I just left it in there and got out.
oh, definitely pick up the cell phone. I mean, when you see the lights, start the recording, and when they come to the window, you talking to them with the recording, with the cell phone, filming them from the onset. Keep on recording. Keep on, and when they tell you can't record anymore, you can find out. Then you start asking questions like, "Why you don't want me to record?
Do
What's
we have
gonna
to
happen?"
let them know that we're recording?
I would, so they'll know that they can't do any shady stuff.
Okay. But he
Yeah.
could have picked up his phone when the officer told him to get out the car. He reached for his cell phone that was in the cup holder, and she said, "No, you don't need that." He could have still, in his rights, picked up his cell phone
And start recording.
and started recording, but he needs to let her know. I know my rights. I know I can feel, because then
I wouldn't
you're
even I wouldn't even try to get to that point. I mean, the thing about it, and I'm a little uncomfortable with you reaching around after they're there and trying to get something because they can say they thought you was going for a gun, da 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 da. That's why when you see the blue lights, get the phone out, start the recording, you let the window down, you make sure that they see the phone and that it's on record.
and you advise that, Attorney
Yeah.
Allen.
You got to.
Okay.
I mean, it could very well save you an arrest
Okay.
because
So you
they
all
have things
listening.
they
Yeah.
have things that they have to do. They have to do when they stop you, and they don't do those things, then they're violating your civil rights. Or if they go any further and search and they find stuff, it's gonna get kicked out. It's gonna get kicked out. But I
Okay.
mean,
So
I mean, everybody should be able, whenever you stop, you need that phone on record, you let that window down, you got that, so make sure you record the face, get down, look at so that you get the badge number, you talking to them, they talking to you, they're like, well, stop that recording, you're like, I can record, why you don't want me to record?
okay. So if you all are listening
Oh,
and
and
pass the word.
I would do it even better is if you got a Facebook book account, upload it. Do a live stream on Facebook.
Wow. You advise that.
Yeah, got to. You got to do that. You're gonna make such a terrible mistake if you got the ability to record the stop. You got to record it, and you go ahead and do a live stream to Facebook.
Okay. So as soon as we see the blue lights, that's when you grab your phone and you start recording. As soon as you
And
see the blue
mhm.
lights.
And tell the narrative of what's going on. I see some blue lights behind me. I don't know what they're stopping me for. This is such and such. I'm on the corner of such and such. So I'm pulling over immediately. The police is coming up. I'm rolling down the window. I'm videotaping him. I'm trying to get his badge number. And it was like, officer, may I help you? And you record the whole, I mean, they might be really nice. You still record the whole incident.
Okay.
And if you got enough composure, you got a Facebook account, upload it. And be very
Okay.
polite. Yeah, yes, sir. No, sir. Be very polite. I mean, you know, it's not any point in getting upset, showing anger. You know, you're going to put them in their place. I mean, that's what they expect, that they can get you to play out of your position so that they'll have a reason to arrest you.
Mm.
And just like if you getting stopped and you rummage around the car, they can shoot you and get away with it. That's why I say, have the phone out, and everybody in the car need to have a phone out. And
What if you are in a place where you don't feel comfortable? We have a female asking, is it okay to continue? You see the blue lights, but you don't feel safe where you are. Is it okay to continue driving the speed limit until you can pull over in a safe place?
turn on your flashes, reduce your speed, and the first safe place pull into. I mean, it's against the law. It's called eluding a police officer. It calls for a lot of jail time, but if you put on your flashers, you reduce your speed, and you went into a lighted area, no jury going to convict you. They're not going to do it. But I mean, you need to not just do the speed. I mean, you need to reduce it. You need to put on your
Reduce the
flashers.
speed limit. Okay.
Reduce it. You need to put on your hazardous lights, and go somewhere somewhere where there's lighted and stuff like that, and have your cell phone on. Be recording, and if you got a Facebook account, start uploading it to Facebook, and you're going to be okay.
Let's talk about when they ask you for your driver's license and registration. I know most parents will teach, keep your hands on the steering wheel, because you don't want to reach for something and alarm the officer or put them in a position where they feel like they have to protect themselves. So what do you advise when it comes to license and registration?
And even with me and my kids, I always tell them to have it somewhere when they see the blue lights, they flip it, and it's there. They're not having to fish around for it after the stop. It's there. The police come to the window, hand it to them. Just let them know that
So be
somebody
prepared.
has talked to you. Yeah, that you're prepared.
Yeah.
And for them, it's going to throw them off because they expect you to act a certain way, or that they can push you to act a certain way. And if you show them that you're prepared, that somebody's going to talk to you, when they say, "Can I search your car?" and you say no, they know you talk to somebody.
And they know that because our first response would be, okay, step out the car and let them search your car. So if we say no, they know that we've been instructed. They know we know something. Okay.
But
and
I mean,
go ahead.
Step out the car and let them search your car. Go ahead and do
Right.
that. Don't resist them. But I mean, even if you got whatever you got in that car, you got a good shot of getting it suppressed.
Okay. And nine times out of 10, I'm going to use myself for an example. You raise your children to be mannerable. You let them know the right thing to do, how to talk to officers when they're stopped. But there's always going to be something. But you let us know tonight that that's the goal, is to provoke us to get angry. So we have to not resist, have that documentation ready. You mentioned having it in a clear plastic bag. Put it in a sandwich bag or in a Ziploc bag, your driver's license and registration, and be ready with the phone as soon as you see the lights And that throws them off, you said, because they know we've been instructed the right way.
And they would come up to that window, you roll down the window, and that phone is recording. They have to recognize all your rights, all of them, because they miss one. Whatever search they got isn't going to be a good search. And I'm just saying that the biggest ploy that they use is that, well, if you don't have anything in your car, why can't I search?
Right.
Yeah, they gonna ask that.
Mm-hmm.
Always going to say that.
They ask every time.
Always going to say that. And then you're in Pensacola. I sue sheriff department. I sue them. So probably if you say, well, Robert Allen told me not to let you search my car, they're gonna know who I am.
Okay. Well, that's
And then
good
on
for
the
everyone in
bus-
Pensacola, Florida. I'm in Montgomery, Alabama.
And on my bus, I have a city bus that drives around with my picture on it, and the big thing on there is like police misconduct. I sue for police misconduct.
Wow.
So yeah, just tell them I told you no.
Okay. And you all let your peers know this information also, because when you're knowledgeable, when you're informed, you're better prepared. And I'm not going to say that you don't have to be on pins and needles when you see the blue lights behind you, but when you know your rights, because Javon, you said you were afraid when the female officer pulled you over, and then she had to call for more officers. And that's
Thought
when
it was over.
Huh?
So I thought it was over.
And that's the fear that we don't want. He
Right.
thought it was over. He was afraid. So she had no reason really to call more officers in. And that's
But I
when
mean,
they
if you
searched his
black,
car with,
if you black, they're gonna call them. I mean,
wow.
it's gonna happen because they can get away with it. They can get away with pulling you over, saying that it was because of a tag or a turn signal, and they could call on the radio and say, "Hey, I want you to bring in the dogs to search this car. I'm gonna detain them so you can do it." But the whole time you're like, no. And the worst thing, out of the criminal cases that I've had, the ones that I lose the most are the people who say something other than, "I want to talk to my lawyer."
Mm,
If you say anything else, it's going to be used against you.
wow. You guys hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could beat a case if you hadn't said anything.
Wow.
I could give them hell about anything that you found in that car if you hadn't given a statement. If you've given a statement, then my options are limited. But if you was like, "I want my lawyer," we can beat that case. If that's
Okay.
all you said.
That is so important. So, after Attorney Allen, for the viewers, he's given us the information that we need to know, what we need to do. So, if you come out of your out of character and get an attitude, there's only so his hands are tied. There's only so much that he can do. But if you just say, "What? I want to talk to my lawyer."
Mhm.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I want a lawyer.
I want a
I want a
lawyer.
lawyer.
I want a
I want a
lawyer.
lawyer.
But if you say anything
Or
else outside of that, it's hard for a case.
it's hard for you guys. You're gonna you improve your chances of not getting your case kicked out
Okay,
if you
well,
say anything else.
now, Jalen, you have been pulled over several times in Pensacola. Um, Attorney Allen, is there anything to protect someone if they continuously being pulled over for nothing?
Right, but the thing about in Pensacola is that when they pull you over, they get all that information. That's on the system, so that any other officer out there pull up that tag of yours, it's going to tell them if they pulled you over before.
And will it tell them if they found something or if they not? Is all that
Right,
information there?
Right, but they're gonna go ahead and look for something else again because you're okay.
Wow.
I tell people, I'm like, if you got busted in that car, you can't keep that car. If you get pulled over, they find some stuff in that car. We go to trial. We beat the charges. You can't keep that car because it's in their system. It is in their system, and they could just be going around. They punch that tag number in there. They see that they the last time it was stopped, it had some drugs in there. You're gonna get stopped.
Okay, Attorney Allen, what about, I know plenty mothers who have good sons. They get stopped for nothing. You're not going to find my sons, better not find my sons with drugs or anything in the car that they're not supposed to have. They're just getting pulled over for the sake of getting pulled over.
And those
So
people
they still
need
have
to-
a case, though.
they still have a civil rights case. And you know, the thing about it is Pensacola is conservative. It's going to be tough to win a case, and they're going to be like, you just got pulled over. But the thing about it is that you need to file a lawsuit anyway. You know, you need to let them know that, you know, I got pulled over. There wasn't probable cause for the stop. They detained me. They did this. They searched me. They didn't find anything. You still need to sue. Because they
Really?
have the right to sell. They had no right
Really?
to search that car.
Okay, let me
You got-
repeat that. Let me repeat that just to make sure we understand what you're saying. We get pulled over, no probable cause. They find nothing. They search us. We have nothing on us. We've done nothing wrong. You're saying we should sue them
For illegal search and seizure.
for illegal search?
At the very minimum, everybody out there need to, whenever you get stopped like that, and it's not any probable cause, you need to make a complaint to that law enforcement agency where your complaint is part of that officer's file.
What if they don't search you? What if they just ask you to get out the car and they just give you a hard time? Is that a case?
Yeah. If they tell you to get out the car, you've been seized. You are under arrest.
I mean, you can't tell an
That's
officer
illegal.
no when they ask you to get out the car.
Yeah, you get out
Yes,
the
he
car.
can.
but
He
when
said that. You get out the car. I see what you're saying, Jalen. If you get out the car, they tell you to get out the car, you get out the car. They're not searching for anything. They tell you to stand behind the car. They run your tag, all of this. Is that a case?
Yeah. They gotta
That's a
have,
case?
they have to have a reason to tell you to get out the car.
Well, Jalen should have been in court about 5-6 times then.
Right.
Jalen will stay in court.
I mean, and at the very least, you should report the incident to and tell them you want an investigation by Internal Affairs.
Wow.
So that
Reported to who?
Internal Affairs for that law enforcement agency.
Because I done had like 5 cops pull me over, and because of my company jacket, who I was working for, they said I was good to go.
You need to file a complaint.
Okay, Jalen, you need to go.
Huh?
You need to go see Robert Allen. Okay.
You need to,
Now,
Probably too late
I just
now,
want to
yeah.
push that one more time is that they stop you, they tell you get out the car. There's no reason to get out the car. You go ahead and get out the car. But you file a complaint. You let that be part of that person's personnel file. So if they ever do anything to anybody else or hurt anybody, you know, the first thing I do when I sue is ask for a copy of their personnel file. And it's good if I see a whole lot of other people in there complaining about that officer. that helps my case. So yeah, file a complaint. Always, we will stop them stopping people, black
If
people.
enough people
Well,
complain about it.
if you routinely go in, make a complaint.
Okay.
You just
And you
get that
can't make a
officer's name.
complaint unless you know your rights, unless you know. So you need the officer's name,
And
badge
badge
number.
number. And is the sheriff department or Pensacola Police Department, Florida Highway Patrol, and file a complaint. I mean, if you don't want to go in and file it, write a letter to that sheriff department or that city's chief of police. Write down your complaint and that you want it investigated. It's going to
Now,
be
would
part
that be
of
the
that
same for
officer's-
any state? Would
Yeah.
that procedure be the same for
Yeah.
any state? Okay, because we got people watching from different states. So,
And you're going to stop all of this. Eventually, it will stop them from just pulling you over for no reason when the culture is
wow.
that you're going to file a complaint and they got all of these complaints. And the first time that they shoot somebody and kill somebody and it's questionable, you're going to be looking at their personnel file.
Wow. Well, you know what? It's already 10 minutes till 7. We got 10 more minutes. First of all, I just want to thank you because you've given a wealth of information, a wealth of free information and advice that will help not just the young guys, but mothers, aunts, fathers. We need to know what our rights are. But if you don't have the information, you don't know what questions to ask. But I think to reiterate everything that you said, the most important thing is to not resist, do not elude, go with the flow. And the only thing we need to say, if they say, ask us to do anything, is that we want to contact our lawyer. If we say anything outside of that, it makes it more difficult for a case. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I just want to point out a couple of other things is that, I'm offering these strategy sessions. If you call me on the phone or you email me at robert@robertcallen.com and Google me at Robert C. Allen. And if you're in Florida, I could sit down and talk to you about strategy on how to handle your case. And you won't have a fee for that. And we're just going to call it, you're going to call, tell me the situation, and I'm going to let you know what the law is, and you can go with it how you want to. So we're going to do those strategy sessions. Email me, and we'll talk about them on our next show, or email me or call me, and we can talk about it over the phone. Do criminal work, and I have a wealth of information that next time we're going to talk about car accidents and personal injury cases and talk to you about that as well.
Right. We have one more question, but I just want to repeat what he said. He will continue having these, he's going to call them strategy sessions. So if you're going through something, you got some questions, give him a call. He'll do some research on it, and then he'll go live and share this information with everyone. Okay, there's strategy sessions, not just on police misconduct, but what other you do, personal injury, what else?
Personal injury, policeman conduct, and civil cases.
Civil cases.
Our case with you is that, Pensacola Speaks with Robert C. Allen. That's Pensacola Speaks on Facebook. We're going to post the next time that we're going to have one of these sessions, and we'll post it there on Pensacola Speaks. But again, email me with the questions or call me, and we'll get you on the show, and we'll talk about it. And if you just want to not let people know who you are, email me the questions. And then when we have our strategy session with Candace Production, then we'll deal with those questions then.
Okay, another question. How do we go about asking for the officer's information if we aren't able to pull out a pen and paper and don't have a video recording device? Can you?
They supposed to tell you, but I mean, with the badge number, you're going to see that you should be able to see some identification on their chest. It's the badge number or the name. The badge number is the good one. You can just put the badge number on there, and that badge number is associated with a certain person. So you could do that. And then again, very politely, hey, what's your name?
Very politely. You hear that? Very politely. So you can't go in there with the attitude, yo, I know my rights. What's your name? I need your badge. You have to act like you got some sense. Sir, may I have your badge number? Sir, may I have your name?
And then you can write the police department and say, look, I was stopped at this time, this date, at this location. I want to know who that officer was. And they'll be able to tell you there. So like if you were stopped by a sheriff's deputy and it was on C Street at 8 o'clock at night and you didn't get his name and he wouldn't give you the name, you would write out a complaint that this person stopped you at this time, this date, on this street, and they refuse to give a name and you want to know who that person is because you want to make a complaint. They got a record of who it was.
Okay. Well, until our next session, any closing remarks you have for everyone? I just want to thank you. The viewers are saying thank you, that the information was helpful, informative. I know it was for me. And Mr. Allen's website is scrolling on the bottom, robertcallen.com. And you can get more information, robertcallen.com. He serves
and
the
I
Pensacola.
want to push everybody to come and listen to my show, Pensacola Speaks, on
Pensacola
Facebook.
Speaks.
Because I have a television show that airs on Wednesdays at 3:30, and we bring in leaders in the community to come and talk about the things that they're doing in the community.
That's
and so
good.
You want to see when that is happening, go to Pensacola Speaks on Facebook, and they'll announce the dates and the times and the speaker.
Right. And if you can't find his page, always go to Candy Publishing. He is Candy Publishing sponsor. And any new information that he has, it will also be on Candy Publishing's Facebook page also. So you all can go to Candy Publishing or Robert C. Allen website.
And one last thing is that if you know people who are really making a difference in Pensacola or the surrounding areas and are really making a contribution, I'd like to talk to them and get them on the show and give them some television time on Pensacola Speaks, which we show on television, so that we can have people to know and hopefully use that as a mechanism to get the community behind them and make contributions to their cause.
That's great. You keep the community connected. That's one thing that I noticed that you do. I'm not going to say other lawyers, attorneys don't do it, but you try to keep the community of Pensacola connected. You give honest information. You give like what you're doing tonight. And for those of you who missed it, he will be coming back. We're going to make these periodic sessions where he's going to call them strategy sessions on different areas that you might have questions on. But we'll fill you in more about that. Just stay tuned on Candy Publishing's page or Robert C. Allen website for more information to come. And thank you, Javon and Jalen, for coming on with Jemima. I appreciate you. Jalen, Robert C. Allen is right there in Pensacola with you, so you better stay out of trouble. Javon, all the way from Texas, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And you guys, yes, thank you. And you guys have a good evening. Appreciate you, Attorney Allen. All righty.
Good night.
All right.
Are you off live?